When I released it, I actually called it a Christmas album without any Christmas songs. Hear me out. I wanted to talk about my album. I released it 3 years ago. There's much more that comes into this. I started first with my family saying, like, yeah, just make a Christmas album. 2019, right after Christmas, I started recording this album. I just had my laptop, my sound card, my microphone, my guitar, my mom's guitar, and I started recording in a cabin. I can take this. Like, I carried the whole setup of Christmas at that moment and started recording in solitude. 2 years later, the album was done, and I was about to release it in June, but I realized it's not actually done. So I waited. Now Christmas is not really recommended for especially independent artists because this guy looks grumpy. Looks so grumpy. So there's always so many people who are releasing new Christmas music, covers, I don't know what. It's a massive thing. But then I told my team, we talked about this date. I told them how maybe we should just release it for Christmas, like it's a Christmas album, and call it a Christmas album without any Christmas songs. They're like, actually, yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's a wintry album, so it's calm, soothing. Kind of fits the vibe of the time of the year. Then I looked at the album cover I chose. Actually, yeah, that is winter. So why not? In reality, this story goes actually even further. Anyway, so I had this whole idea of making this album inspired by the Christmas lights in my hometown. Faith, hope, and love. What is so magical? I don't think I know this spot actually from before. I grew up here. Anyway, I had this idea to release 3 EPs containing faith, hope, and love in Finnish, Swedish, and English. Well, it didn't actually turn out that way. And originally, I had it planned out that the first 3 songs would be in Swedish, faith, hope, and love. For instance, Vakna. It just had to be the first song on the album. Like, hey, wake up. Wake up, and you're in this moment. You're with me. But it was for me faith. Out of being just maybe just spiritual. For every single song, I had planned out a slot. But then came other songs that were not planned. So somehow it grew from 9 songs to 12 songs. But it's kind of the beauty of it. So it's not only faith, hope, and love. I realized it was also about home sickness. Sound of falling rain, Oidai, the traditional song. Trees would learn from me. Now looking back at it, I don't remember why Vostok Lake was there. I think it just wanted to be there. It just felt natural. Okay, fine, you're gonna be here. I didn't plan on you being there, but it just somehow makes sense. And then I wrote a poem when I did the artworks for my CD, and it just kind of clicked for me. I forgot the poem. Faith in yourself, hope for healing, and love where home is. One of the reasons that I actually went with this idea. Someone left something here. Should I leave it? I think I'll leave it here. It's reflecting for whatever purpose. Corona happened. So I didn't go to Finland for Christmas. One thing that I had with me that was comforting me, aside from music and my friends and so on, was that I had these Christmas lights from my hometown that my dad actually made. Later on, when I processed the album, like, actually, this was the original idea. I think it was even before I started recording. I had this song set up. It was that far that I considered naming the album The Greatest of These, which is a quote from the Bible, from the Corinthians 13, where faith, hope, and love is present. Oops. And I told this to the people I was working with. And they're like, yeah, it makes sense. That's really nice. This feels good. Let's do it. And so probably it was perfectly right to call it the Christmas album. Let it like stand out there. This collection of songs that can maybe give you faith, hope, and love. Well, that's more or less the story. I released it 2nd of December 2022. I like the number. And it performed pretty well. I mean, I think it was, for marketing sense, quite a good timing to call it that. And nobody in the reviews, they didn't actually question it at all. I guess it just made sense to them too, which I'm very glad for and grateful for. That what I want to say is, this is a time where we should actually just slow down and sleep more and do less and stress less, but we do the exact opposite. I realized there is definitely also a market for people who are tired of the cliches of Christmas. Maybe one day I will release another tacky Christmas song. There will be another story. I definitely have put some covers on my YouTube that are not really the cheesy ones. Have a happy new year. This is my album. I've even printed it onto vinyl and there's CDs. Drop me a line. There are shops where you can purchase the vinyl. So if you want to support me, you can do that. If you like the music, please share it with your friend or put it on some nice playlists to share it with your friend. Just give me your email address for being in the newsletter or join my Patreon so I can get more chocolate. I have still so many songs to make, and one of them is about chocolate. Actually, two of them. Maybe coffee too. Merry Christmas from the very unchristmassy landscape in Finland these days. Take care of yourself and your loved ones or your neighbor. Have a happy new year.